Hello, my name is Yolanda Barnes, and I'm a Senior Project Officer with the Division of Grants Management. I'll be facilitating today's webinar. Please note that the chat feature has been disabled. However, the contact information will be provided at the end of the webinar if you have questions. Today's webinar will be posted to ORR's website. Please allow a couple of days for the recording and slides to be posted to the website. Valerie Kenya is the lead author and point of contact for the residential shelter, Transitional Foster Care Services for Unaccompanied Children, pre-licensed NOFO at the Office of Refugee Resettlement, abbreviated as ORR. This webinar reiterates information that can be found in the Notice of Funding Opportunity, abbreviated as NOFO, NOFO, for the Residential Shelter Transitional Foster Care Services for Unaccompanied Children, which is available on grants.gov. It is important to note that participating in this webinar is voluntary and will not affect eligibility, scoring, or award selection. In the event of a discrepancy between the webinar and the NOFO takes precedence. ORR is not able to provide any information that is not already found in the published NOFO. ORR cannot provide responses to any specific requests for help with your application. For instance, we cannot provide feedback around activities that you might propose in your program, whether you are eligible to apply, or how information that you include in your application might be evaluated during the review process. Here are the webinar objectives. Introduction to the Unaccompanied Children Bureau, overview of the NOFO that is currently published to grants.gov, and review the NOFO content requirements, evaluation criteria, and available resources. The Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR, was established by the Refugee Act of 1980 to ensure that refugees have the resources and support to successfully integrate into their new communities. Moved from Department of Homeland Security to Health and Human Services as part of the 2002 Homeland Security Act. ORR's mission is to promote the health, well-being, and stability of refugees, unaccompanied children, and other eligible individuals and families through culturally responsive, trauma-informed, and strengths-based services so that all new arrivals are welcomed with equitable, high-quality services and resources to maximize their potential. Who is an unaccompanied child? An unaccompanied child is under age 18, has no immigration status, no parent or legal guardian in the U.S., or whose parent or legal guardian in the U.S. is unable to provide care and custody. Unaccompanied children often leave their home countries to rejoin family already in the U.S. to escape abusive family relationships or violent communities. On this slide, you'll see the core beliefs and values for the Unaccompanied Children Bureau. These provide you with additional insight into the priorities of the program. You'll see children and youth first, safety and well-being, cultural responsiveness, family and healing, and strengths and accountability. Once taken into custody by immigration officials, unaccompanied children are transferred to ORR. The Unaccompanied Children Bureau places the referred children within its network of residential and community-based service providers and ensures that children are in the least restrictive settings for their age and needs. ORR looks at children's unique situation and incorporates child welfare principles and best practices when making placement, clinical, case management, and release decisions that are in the best interest of the child. Unaccompanied children receive medical, clinical, case management, educational, vocational, recreational leisure, nutritional, and other services while in care and receive help to transition into their communities once they are released to an ORR vetted sponsor. After ORR releases an unaccompanied child from its care and custody to a sponsor, ORR provides post release services to facilitate a continuum of care and provide support for children transitioning into their new communities. ORR has provided care and found suitable sponsors for over 700,000 unaccompanied children. For the first 9 years of the program, fewer than 8,000 children were served annually. Since fiscal year 2012, this number has increased significantly, with a total of 118,938 children referred to ORR in fiscal year 23. Before we discuss the NOFO, let's briefly review how to find the application package. You'll follow the steps that are on the screen. On the following slides, you will see an example of a completed search. First, you'll go to grants.gov. You'll click on the Search Grants tab. You can search by keyword, opportunity number, or CFDA. The CFDA is 93.676. Then you will click on the blue search button, select the funding opportunity from the list, click on the blue Related Folders tab, and open the folder titled Revise Full Announcement, Open Full Announcement for the active NOFO. You'll click on the blue package box to preview the application and or to apply. For the example on the screen, the CFDA 93.676 was used for the search criteria. Click on the blue hyperlink to the left of the standing announcement for residential shelter and or transitional foster care services for unaccompanied children pre-license. When you click on the blue Related Documents tab, you will select the file description folder, Revise Full Announcement, Open Full Announcement for the active NOFO. Click on the blue package box to preview the application and or to apply. When you click on the Synopsis tab, you'll see this general information and you'll note the date that the NOFO was last updated, as well as the current closing date. This NOFO was last updated July the 3rd, 2024, and the closing date is September the 2nd, 2024 by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now that we've reviewed how to navigate grants.gov, let's move on to the NOFO content. This slide provides some key information about the residential shelter and or transitional foster care services for unaccompanied children pre-licensed NOFO. The NOFO was published on July the 3rd, 2024. The application due date is September the 2nd, 2024 by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the award date is July the 1st, 2025. As mentioned, this NOFO is for shelter and or transitional foster care, abbreviated as TFC. A shelter is a residential care provider facility in which all of the programmatic components are administered on site in the least restrictive environment. A group home is a care provider facility that offers a group home setting and that specializes in caring for specific populations. An example would be teen mothers. A group home, which is run by 24 hour staff or house parents, typically houses 4 to 12 unaccompanied children. Transitional foster care, or TFC, is an initial placement option for unaccompanied children under 13 years of age, sibling groups with one sibling under 13 years of age, teens, pregnant and parenting teens, or unaccompanied children with special needs. Unaccompanied children are placed with foster families but do not attend local or neighborhood schools. Instead, TFC providers must provide the educational component at a central location operated and run by care provider staff. Other required services, such as clinical and case management services, must be provided at the care provider site as well. Section 2, Federal Award Information, provides information about the estimated total funding, expected number of awards, award ceiling, award floor, anticipated project start date, length of the project period, and type of award. Carefully review the disqualification factors that are found in the NOFO. If there are licensing requirements, they're usually included in the sections noted on the slide. Review Section 3.3, Other Application Disqualification Factors. This section outlines additional factors that will cause your application to be disqualified. For instance, applications from individuals, including sole proprietorships, and foreign entities are not eligible and will be disqualified. Applications that exceed the award ceiling will be disqualified. Applications that miss the application deadline will be disqualified. Your submission time will be determined by the date and timestamp provided by grants.gov when you complete your submission. We strongly encourage you to submit your application a minimum of 3 to 5 days prior to the application closing date in case there are unforeseen delays. Grants.gov will provide either an error or a successfully received submission message in the form of an email sent to the applicant with the authorized representative or AOR role. You must have a unique entity identifier or UEI and an active registration with the System of Award Management SAM prior to applying to a funding opportunity. Your SAM registration must be renewed every 365 days to keep it active. Plan ahead. If you do not have an UEI or an active SAM registration, allow sufficient time to activate your registration and obtain your UEI. No grant award will be made under this funding opportunity on the basis of an incomplete application. No grant award will be made to an applicant that does not have a UEI and an active SAM registration. You can see section 5.2, Review and Selection Process for more information. Carefully review section 4.2, Content and Form Application Submission for guidance on formatting, assembling, and submitting your application. This slide provides a few key points that are found in section 4.2, Content and Form of Application Submission of the NOFO. All information and documentation that is identified in the NOFO as required must be submitted at the time of application. The information on this slide is also found in section 4.2, Content and Form of Application Submission of the NOFO. Review the information carefully and make sure that you submit all required information and documents at the time that you apply. Section 5.3, Anticipated Announcement and Federal Award Dates, Announcements of awards and the status of applications will be provided to the applicants at a later date. We cannot respond to requests for information regarding funding decisions before official notifications are made. Section 6.1 Federal Award Notices. Successful applications will be notified through issuance of a Notice of Award, or NOA, that includes the award amount, important dates, and terms and conditions. Information on allowable pre-award costs and the time period under which they may be incurred is available in Section 4.6 Funding Restrictions, if applicable. Project costs that are incurred prior to the receipt of the NOA are at the recipient's risk. The criteria that will be used to evaluate your application is found in Section 5.1 Criteria of the NOFO. Carefully review this section. Your application will be evaluated and scored based on the information in your application related to program design and service provision, program management, program performance evaluation plan, administrative and service environment, budget and budget justification, and bonus points if any are noted. A few things to keep in mind. Read the complete funding opportunity carefully. Make note of the requirements and clearly address them in the application. Review the criteria that will be used to score the applicants. Applying to the funding opportunity involves a competitive process. ORR cannot provide guidance on that what is specific to your organization, such as whether your organization is eligible, how to prepare your budget, how to best present and prepare your application, present the information in an organized and easy to follow manner. Begin to prepare the application early and do not wait until the last minute to submit the application. Additional items to keep in mind. The budget should include adequate funds to carry out the proposed work plan, evaluation plan, and administrative responsibilities of the project. Budgetary costs should be reasonable, allocable, program related, and commensurate with the types and range of activities to be conducted. Do not request more funds than are available as listed in the NOFO. This amount is inclusive of indirect costs. The staffing should be appropriate and reasonable for the goals, objectives, and activities of the proposed project. Be complete in describing what staff will do, the expertise required, and the percentage time they will be assigned to the project. Section 7, HHH Award Agency Contact includes the names and contact information of the program office and the Office of Grants Management staff assigned to this funding opportunity. A reminder that the award agency contacts are not able to provide technical assistance with the grants.gov platform. Please contact grants.gov for assistance with technical issues. Please note that to preserve transparency in the competitive funding opportunity process, the agency contacts cannot provide information that is not included in the NOFO. Questions specific to your organization's application, eligibility, and/or program design cannot be answered. The program contact for this announcement is Valerie Kanya. The Office of Grants Management contact is Bernard Morgan. To reiterate that participating in this webinar is voluntary and will not affect eligibility, scoring, or award selection. In the event of a discrepancy between the webinar and the NOFO takes precedence. ORR is not able to provide information that is not already found in the published NOFO. ORR cannot provide responses to any specific request for help with your application. For instance, we cannot provide feedback around activities that you might propose in your program, whether you are eligible to apply, or how information that you include in your application might be evaluated during the review process. Additional resources can be found at these websites and Section 8 Other Information in the NOFO. Additional information can be found at the ORR webpage. The QR link is on the slide. The webinar will post to ORR's grants page, and questions can be directed to DCS underscore project officers at acf.hhs.gov. This concludes today's webinar. We will leave this slide on the screen so you can write down the email address, website, and QR code. Thank you for joining us and for your interest in the Unaccompanied Children's Bureau.